been so successful. I mean, all those years, and all your albums are gold or either platinum, and you've hung in there. And one thing I really admire about you is your causes. You've stuck with them all these years. I mean, you don't waver.
Well, you know, there are things that I really care about, that I've cared about for a long time, and I've had the opportunity to more than talk about them, to be involved, and they haven't gone away. And so I'm really pleased that there are things that I can still give my time and energy and resources to that I think matter and that have to do with more than you know, trying to make it in the record business.
You're a global person.
I consider myself a global citizen, but I consider everybody a global citizen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more than ever before, we have to recognize that what we do here in Nashville has an effect, a far-reaching effect out there, not only through country music. What happened in Chernobyl has an effect around the rest of the world. What's happening in the rainforests of South America has an effect around the rest of the world. And so we need to begin thinking and acting like a global community if we're going to make it work.
Could be way ahead of your time.
Well,
I mean, it's about time, but I mean, even 20 years ago, you were talking like this.
Yes.
Interesting to have you here on Thanksgiving Day, because one of your causes is fighting world hunger.
Hunger is a true obscenity, I think, in our world. We say that there's too many people, and the truth is that we produce enough today to feed twice the Earth's population. And yet within that scenario, 40,000 children starve to death every day.
A lot of them in the U.S.
Well, I don't know if they're starving to death here in the United States, but there are very many poor people and hungry people, hungry families, hungry children. Do you know that 40% of the homeless are families, and that over 25% of the homeless people in our country have a college education?
Wow.
And that 14% of the homeless here in our country are children who are alone on the street. How does that happen?
I don't know.
You know? So as much as we have to be thankful for on this day, I appreciate you bringing that up. And in all of our Thanksgiving, let's also remind ourselves about those who are needy and those who, with just the smallest effort on our part, we can make a real contribution to in one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your new video, which seems to have a lot of meaning into it, Potter's Wheel.
Potter's Wheel. The song was written by Bill Danoff. Bill was one of the co-writers on Take Me Home Country Roads and a few other songs that I've done over the years, and he was one of the Afternoon Delight Starland Vocal Band.
Oh, yeah.
They got the new Vocal Group of the Year Grammy.
Right, you signed
quite a
them
few
on,
years
Orla.
ago.
Didn't you have something to do with
They
that?
were on
Yeah.
the Wind Song record label
Right.
at the time. And so Bill wrote this song, sent it to me a few years ago, and it just kind of stuck. I couldn't get it out of my mind. It's a very moving song to me. And I think part of what it has to do and what we were just talking about, you know, is how do we want to raise our children? What are the kinds of values that we want to give to them? What are the things, the priorities that we would like to see them set? I think it's a very interesting song.
Mm-hmm. And the influences. Let's take a look.
Let's watch it. John Denver and Potter's Wheel.
They've seen the wars that hurt the hunger. How will they choose when they are grown? What do you tell forever's children when it's their turn to hurt and heal? Whatever spins a grim tornado can also turn Potter's wheel. Take a little clay, put it on a wheel, get a little hint how God must feel. Give a little burn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want it in. Tell with your life a bloody story, teach to their dreams, not burning steel. It's not in bombs where lies the glory, but in what's shattered on the field. some children will be dead in some long forgotten ground, and they'll find our civilization, or what's left of it to be found. They'll find the weapons of destruction, but buried deeper in the core. They'll find a message and a promise in the sand of the potter's bowl. Take a little clay, put it on a wheel, get a little hint how God must feel. Give a little turn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want it in. Take a little clay, put it on the wheel, get a little hint how God must feel. Give a little turn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want it in. Earth and water and wind conspire with human hands and love and fire. Take a little clay, put it on the wheel, give a little hint how God must feel. Give a little turn, listen to it spin, make it in the shape you want.
There he is. What do you think, John? First time
Well,
you've
I
seen
like
it.
it. Yeah, it's a real treat to me. I was telling Al earlier. I remember the first time that I ever heard one of my songs on the radio. It was Peter, Paul, and Mary singing "Leaving on a Jet Plane." I was in Phoenix, Arizona, driving down the road, and here came this thing, and was all of a sudden, you know, a real dream come true.
Uh-huh.
And I started crying. I had to pull over the side of the street and sit there, and it just was a great experience. And I'm sure it's happened for so many country writers here in Nashville, or artists. The first time you hear one of your songs, or the first time you hear your own song on the radio, I mean, you singing "Take Me Home, Country Roads" when that started happening. And now to see this video, this is the first time that I've seen
I'm
it.
so glad you didn't tear up on us there.
Oh,
It would have been really messy. But,
following the turkey
Got to be a thrill.
would have been real messy.
yeah. Oh, gee.
It's unusual. Do you still get nervous when you do your stuff?
You get nervous if you're attached to a show. And this is one of the things that I've watched over the years. I really don't get nervous very often, unless for some reason you have an attachment to the show. And where I notice this is with my band. I remember in the early days, people like James Burton or Glenn Hardin or one of the guys would have family coming to one of the concerts. And then after the concert, and they were brilliant. They played brilliantly, but after the concert, they would come back and say, "God, I just couldn't get that amp sounding the way I wanted to, Johnny." So you got something attached to it, and you don't live up to what you wanted to do, and it's because you're nervous or whatever like that. And they were brilliant. And I hope that, you know, on those occasions when I'm attached and I don't feel like I did the show that I wanted to do, that
It
it's
never
still...
shows. My whole point in asking that question was you seem to be one of the most relaxed people I've ever watched perform. You always seem like you're having a good time.
Well, I do. Singing is still my favorite thing to do. And I love to sing for people. It thrills me to death that I can go anywhere in the world and sing for people, and they'll sing along with me. They know my songs. And that's pretty wonderful. I feel, you know, very welcome. There's nothing there to overcome. You're welcomed by people.
Well, I hope you're not nervous at this big show. The video morning, we realize this is the pinnacle of your career.
You don't
I
want to
only
be
got
attached
nervous.
to this puppy.
I got nervous when I heard I was following a turkey, but
Who
Well,
wouldn't?
Yeah. We're going to show some more John Denver videos and talk a bit more with him also. Stay with us. It's Video Morning.